Greetings. Today we're going to be talking about the Qin dynasty, and this dynasty was very short. It only lasted about 15 years, but it's one of the most famous time periods in China's history, mostly because of their, what I would consider to be psychopathic, if not completely crazy leader, huangdi. Huangdi committed some of the most atrocious actions of violence in China, and he also had some of China's greatest accomplishments. So when you think about Huangdi, it's a bit complex. First, let's start with the good. When Huangdi came to power, he envisioned a China where everybody could trade with each other, but the problem is that people in different villages didn't always speak the same language, they didn't always travel with the same size carts, and they certainly didn't always pay with the same types of money. So Huangdi decided to set out to change that by making sure that people used the same standard of currency, that the roads were all the same size, so the same size carts could fit on the currency, and he wanted to extend the borders of China, and so he united them all together, mostly through military conquest. As a matter of fact, the name China comes from the Qin dynasty. If you look at the word very closely, Qin and China, you can see that that's where we get the name of China from. Also, Huangdi, he realized that people were starting to build walls in local provinces as a way of protection. So he envisioned this idea where if he could connect all the walls together, he would have a fortress that would keep out invading tribes from China, probably permanently. And that's where we get the Great Wall of, at least the beginnings of the Great Wall of China from. In addition to what he was able to accomplish politically, he had some amazing monuments built as well. For his death, he wanted a gigantic triangular prism in order to cover the top of his grave. And in the bottom, archaeologists found over 1,400 life-size clay figures because he was intending on taking his entire army into the afterlife with him. And each one of these terracotta soldiers, named after the type of clay that was used to construct them, are each unique. No two soldiers are the same. No two horses are the same. So these were probably based upon real-life people and soldiers. If you ever see the movie The Mummy, the terracotta soldiers actually come to life, so it's kind of an interesting dramatization. Okay, now that we've covered some of Huangdi's more positive accomplishments, we have to talk about some of the bad stuff that he did as well. And when I say bad, I mean pretty horrible. Remember what we talked about in the last section about the different philosophers, how they weren't all that popular during their own time period, but they would later become popular? Well, which one of the philosophers do you think that Huangdi really subscribed to? You got it, legalism. He ruled with an iron fist. Anybody that he even suspected of trying to take power from him, he had them immediately executed. He also felt that people reading books and learning philosophies was a complete waste of time. He made sure that he had just about all the books of that time period burned, and all the Confucius monks and all the Taoist monks were just thrown into a pit and buried alive. Speaking of being buried alive, when the construction of the Great Wall started, people were starving, they didn't have enough to eat, they were dying of exhaustion, and when they died, what they did was they just basically buried them right in the wall. They would toss them in an open pit and just bury them alive. And that's why the nickname for the Great Wall of China is also known as the Long Graveyard. The rule of Huangdi did not last very long. As soon as he died, a new power is going to immediately come into existence, and all of his heirs are going to be thrown off leadership, and that's what's going to start a very famous period of China, which we'll learn about in the next section, the Han Dynasty. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.